So, what are some common misconceptions about credit scores?
That your credit score, if it's in the 700s or 800s, you automatically going to get approved. And that's definitely a misconception out there because let me just say, you can wipe, let me say, you can wipe everything off your credit, right? And then you go and stick some authorized user accounts onto your credit profile, and it's going to boost you up into the 700s and 800s if they are doing everything they supposed to do right on their end. But just because of that does not mean that you can go apply for things and you're going to get approved, because they also need to see what do you have to show for yourself, not just the people that you are piggybacking off of. In actuality, it's your profile.
Welcome to Get Your Coins Sis podcast, the audio show designed exclusively for you. I'm Nell Latrice, your host and fellow mom on a mission to empower, inspire, and guide you on the path to financial independence. Tune in for expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable tips to help you secure the bag and truly get your coins, sis. Because you deserve financial success and stability. Let's thrive together.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Get Your Coins Sis podcast. This is your host, Nell Latrice. And today we have Kyra. She is from Kredit Kleanse, and she is going to get us together on the credit side, give us tips, tricks, how her journey from being a nurse in nursing to credit. And I can't wait to hear about this. So, Kyra, tell us a little bit about yourself today.
So hey everybody, I am your girl Kyra. I'm the CEO of Kredit Kleanse, an award-winning credit counseling service out here in these credit streets. A little bit about myself is your girl is, of course, a mother of four. I was a teen mom. I am a nurse as well. I have not had to clock in over 5 years now. So yes, and then of course, a boss of all bosses.
Yes, yes. We love to hear. I love hearing about our women bosses doing the thing because I think that, just my opinion, people, it's been a trend in nursing now. I guess I don't know if it's social media or what it is. I love my mom's a nurse, so
Yes.
I'm for the nurses. I just seen like a trend upwards, and people getting into nursing, which is a wonderful field, great field to make money, a good career. But I also want to show that you can bridge the gap from being a nurse to having your own business and still make money too. So I
Yes.
cannot wait to hear about your journey. That's so good. So what made you go from the nursing industry to credit?
Okay, so it's definitely on my personal experience when it comes to that. So in my last pregnancy, I was actually hospitalized majority of it. I even lost my eyesight, and they didn't know if it was going to come back, blood pressure through it was just a lot going on in that pregnancy. Well, I end up having her early, 7 months to be exact. And when I came home to an eviction notice. Because let's be honest, like I said, I was hospitalized majority of it. I was into cash, I'm a nurse, like I'm cash heavy. I didn't really care about my credit then until I couldn't work. And I'm like, what I'm supposed to do. And I don't have any credit to piggyback off of that. So bills piled up, came home to an eviction notice. That right after that, a repossession happened. So yeah, and child is still in NICU because I had her early. So it's a lot that's happening. Unfortunately, I did have, like, me and my kid's father were still together at that time. He was able to get us into another place. And then with that being said, I just was like, something got to give. We got to get our credit together. So personal experience is what led me to the credit industry.
Yes, that is so good because I think that some of us listening have been in a space to where we had, because I had the same thing happen in Nuremberg, high blood pressure, all of those things, but I was just grateful that I had a job that was still paying me, but everybody don't have that option of still getting paid while they're going through something. So
Right.
and I see that that was the specific moment that triggered this career shift into, being your own boss, being able to control your own money. So how did credit change your life? Like what was that pivotal moment for you?
Okay, so for those of you that's like, aren't you a nurse? Didn't you have, health insurance, all this other stuff? I was a travel nurse. So if you are a travel nurse, you don't get those added benefits. You have to do that yourself, right? So that's kind of what led down that road. Once I got my stuff together, because we end up paying $4,200 to get somebody that's well known to try to cleanse our credit. They didn't do anything, and we could have took that as the L, or that was going to be a lesson, and we was going to try to help other people not have to go through that. So I studied, bought every law book there was on credit, and I saw what it was doing for my life once I got mine together. And I'm like, you can actually do this, getting an actual understanding of how credit works. And I was like, oh, I need to put my people on.
Yes, that is great. That is great. So what were the biggest challenges when you started working on your credit?
The biggest challenge will probably be more so the education piece. Because like I tell everyone now, like I can cleanse your credit all day. If you don't truly have an understanding of how credit works, then you'll be right back in the same boat. Again, a little ways down the way, you're gonna be right back there. And I'm talking on personal experience. Having your credit go up, you being able to get these high limit credit cards, splurge, and all this other stuff. So yeah, doing all of that, I would probably say that is what I was like, okay, this is the piece that's needed. So this is kind of what even makes my company a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the bigger pieces that's missing is the educational piece because everybody wants this quick fix. Oh, I need you to sweep my credit. I need you to get this off.
Yeah.
Can you get these? I got 50 inquiries. Can you get these inquiries off my credit? I also need like that's always what I heard from people. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be like, I'm like, listen here. If you want to keep a good score, you have to do the work. Yes, I can dispute stuff on your credit. Yes, we can send off every letter and ask these people to not pay them their money or whatever you want to do. But if you're not going to get educated, it's like kind of like a mute point. Like
Yeah.
it's not going to help you in the long run. So
Yes.
that is so true. So how did those overcoming those challenges shape your approach to helping others with their credit?
So it changed because I understood now that credit is not looked at as just, oh, that's extra income, right? I took credit to where it actually allowed me, first off, to get into rooms I probably would not have been able to get into if my credit wasn't there. Example I always use is my American Express, right? The platinum card. That gave me where I'm able to get into lounges in the airport instead of having to be out there with everybody else. But by being in that lounge, I am making connections. I actually met a CEO of a major bank, and that led me to now helping my members get funded on that end by those connections. So credit allowed me into rooms I probably would have never been in. It also gave me more of as far as to get my business up and running. I'm now understood I can invest with this, the profit that I make, pay this card off, rinse and repeat, versus using my own cash, which could take a while to build up to get there.
Yes, and I always tell people when they're investing in something or they're trying to move to the next level, never use your own cash. I never tie up my money that's in my bank account that I need or maybe need for something. I never tie that up into any investment, anything. If I can't go in there and grab it when I need it, I don't touch it. So I
Mhm.
always use my credit, a line of credit. I tell people all to use other people's money. Like use it, make it work for you, and then you rinse and repeat.
Yes, yes, OPM.
Yes, yes. Other people's money. People need to learn it and stop being. I think it's just like a scare factor there. Like
It
some
is.
people are afraid to. Okay, what if I mess up? What if I'd rather honestly mess up the bank's money than have my own money messed up. I worry about them later. And I'm not saying that to say that people should go do that, but people have to get out the mindset of, that you have to use your own money to do stuff.
Correct.
Yes, yes. So, what advice would you give someone? Before we get into that, we get into the advice part, I want to know, who is Kyra? I want you to tell us about your journey from being a teen mom to a nurse to now a CEO, and how did those experiences as a mother influence your career choices? So, deciding to be a nurse, then because I have
Yeah.
3 children too, so I can resonate with wanting to have a career, and want to do other things.
So I am a small town country girl. Okay. I'm from Moody, Texas, which population is under 1,400. From being where like specks, what I call us, not that many brown skinned people. So I'm from there, but from there is I'm just a person that do not quit. I'm a mother. I teach my kids the same thing. Do not go by people telling you you can't do something. Prove them wrong, right? If that's something that you feel you want to do. So that's me. I don't take no for an answer. I'm a nurse, a nurturer, a motivator. Of course, I'm a credit coach, but I'm a credit strategist. So I'm all of that in one. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of hats. That's a lot of hats. But I commend you because I feel like nowadays you have to have those many hats in order to make it.
Yes.
Because at any time, one of your streams of income could be cut off. No, it doesn't. It takes one thing for that to be severed. So I always tell people, do not rely on that one career, that one job. Okay, yes, you have a degree, I have a degree, but that does not mean you can't dabble in anything else because, that's what you set out for your career to be.
Right.
Yes, yes. So Kredit Kleanse is a 5-star company. So how did you build it?
Sweat, tears, more tears. No, but honestly, I use what happened to me as my stepping tool to building my company. What that mean is there was no communication when I had enrolled into some other services. And so I was like, okay, with this, I'm going to make sure there's communication. If it's not me, then it's going to be my team, right? I also do where I help y'all help do funding and things of that nature, the education piece, the most important piece. So just by doing that, people they able to relate to me because what you see right now is what you see in person. There's no filter. There's no, none of that. This is me. So I think that helps by being authentically me and portraying it into my company, my brand.
Yes, yes, because I do believe that people, they buy a product or a service, but they're also buying into the person who's selling it.
Yes,
Because I might buy something from you because I like you. I like the way you do things. People also don't understand that appearance and looks does play a part in who buys from you. I know it sounds crazy and it's very superficial, but people buy from pretty people. You got a nice outfit, nice hair, you look good, you give off the persona
the
of being
it
this,
factor.
the it girl. People
Yeah,
buy from people like that, and that's what you have to be, the face of your company. You have to be that it girl, like essentially when you're trying to sell a service. It has to be something that somebody likes about you in order to purchase.
yes.
Yes, yes. So, what are the steps that you took to establish Kredit Kleanse? I know that some people, even if they don't want to start a credit business per se, what were the steps that you took in order to say, okay, I have this idea, but now I want to carry this idea out to see it to the finish line?
Because I am also a first generation business owner, entrepreneur out here, the biggest thing I could say is what got me started the right way was I looked at mentors and coaches out there that was doing what I was doing and the lifestyle that I actually wanted. And I invested into my brand, myself, by getting a coach early to help me build out my company and then finding other coaches when it comes to marketing, when it comes to, just different areas, how to run my back office, how to hire. So doing that early actually got me to where I am today.
Yeah, that's so important because I did the same thing when I started. People always say it takes money to make money. and people don't understand that important piece. I do believe in giving some free information. I do believe in giving
Yeah,
back in that way, but I also believe you have to pay to play. So I paid, maybe when I started doing credit too, I started on my own, but then I invested maybe like a couple $1,000s. I took a couple classes from the girl. She helped us get our back office together. She helped us all the systems, things that I would not have been able to figure out on my own had I tried to do it on my own. So
right,
I do want people to understand that sometimes you have to pay people to get to where you want to be. Like everything is not on YouTube University. Some stuff
right,
is, but some stuff you need that mentor.
right.
So yes, yes,
Definitely.
go ahead.
And I'm gonna say this. I go on, you can find me like on YouTube, you can find me IG, Facebook. But the thing is, when I am giving y'all the rundown of how to do something, it may be a missing step in there because I have to generalize it. When you are one-on-one with the person, then you are getting like, okay, now it's based on what you actually have going on. So that was the same thing, when it comes to my business, I was like, but what if, or that doesn't involve me, this do. So how do I go about this? So that's where that coach was definitely a game changer for me.
Yes, yes, because I know with credit you have to have a certain payment processor. Has
Yes,
to be an intermediate. It's so many missing links that go into credit, and this just goes for any business. But it's missing links there that you will not learn until you pay somebody for the information. That's
yes,
just the bottom line for it. Like, and I wouldn't know that if I didn't pay
right.
somebody to teach me. And I paid $900, I think, for that class. And it was, even though I don't fix credit now, it was worth every bit of it because if I want to revisit that again, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Yes. So, what is some advice that you can give somebody to start their own business in the credit industry?
One, don't focus on just knowing everything. I know that's hard for a lot of people to take, but once you learn methods, use those, apply those. If it's working, I would say the next best thing is, like I said, get you a coach. Hey, I'm right here. And then from there, definitely your marketing. Marketing is everything because you can know how to do it all. But if your marketing is trash, who's going to know about you to invest into your company to help you get it out there? So that's the
That
biggest
is
thing I
key.
say, marketing.
Yes, marketing, marketing, marketing. You can have the best product, but if
Yes.
the marketing is not there, people are not going to see. And I learned that's to actually for pill to swallow for myself because I do a lot of good things, but I know my consistency one sometimes be lacking, and then two, I know my marketing. I'm like, oh, I need to get somebody to help me because this is not my area of expertise. So I need to pay somebody. So that is so good. So how do you stay motivated and inspire others, especially young women?
So the days where I even feel like, you know what, I have other businesses I don't want to do. I just look back and I see where my community needs me. This is a subject that's not taught to us in majority of our homes, not in school, public schools at that, not in schools. A lot of it in the community is not talked about because that's something supposed to be private to you. So with that being said, I want another brown skin, little girl, freckle faced little girl that looks like me, to be like, hey, she did it. I can do it. Regardless of everything that I've been through, I think that's really the ultimate thing is just to show others out there that, hey, I did it and I'm no different from you. You can do it too.
Yes, yes. So how do you push out the naysayers, the people that say if somebody's in their ear, how do you kind of mute the noise?
And for me, that started early. Like I said, for
Yeah.
me, being in a town that's majority Caucasian, okay? You already, and the ones that you do see, they're not doing much. They're just going to work, coming home. So that was already a push because I'm like, I want to do this. And then, so for me, with the naysayers, I shut them down, but I'm also a little bit of petty. Let me say that. So what I mean by that, you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna show you and I'm gonna make sure you see that I can do it. But that's the petty part of me. I'm not telling anybody else to put
Yeah.
that part out. But just shut it down and continue. If you feel like whatever your dream is, go after it. Put that in the back of your mind and keep pushing.
Yes, that's really good. Actually, that's how I overcome the naysayers. I just show them that I can do it. Like I
Yes.
feel like proving something is the best way to show somebody. I don't need to say anything. I'ma
No.
just do it. Yes, I'ma just do it and show you that I can do it. And now let the results speak for itself. I don't need to
Right.
say nothing to you.
Right.
I believe that that's a really good way to show, to kind of hush the naysayers. I feel like that has been my number one way to hush the naysayers is that I say, so I'm inconsistent with posting and stuff, but I'm consistent in the way that I carry myself in my business. So
Mm,
I think that that shows people that you're about your business for one, and two, they know that you can do it. I think that people need to see that you can do something that they think you couldn't do. So
right.
I think that's the number one way. That is really,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So to pivot a little bit, I wanted to get into some credit related questions, so our
Okay.
listeners can take away just a couple of nuggets on how they can either get their credit together or come to you to get their credit together.
Yeah.
So what are some common misconceptions about credit scores?
That your credit score, if it's in the 700s or 800s, you automatically going to get approved. And that's definitely a misconception out there because let me just say, you can wipe, let me say, you can wipe everything off your credit, right? And then you go and stick some authorized user accounts onto your credit profile. And it's going to boost you up into the 700s and 800s if they are doing everything they supposed to do, right? On their end. But just because of that does not mean that you can go apply for things and you're going to get approved because they also need to see what do you have to show for yourself, not just the people that you are piggybacking off of. Like, so I think that's one of the most common misconceptions. It scores everything when in actuality, it's your profile.
Yeah, that's so true. I used to work at a bank too, a big bank, that's around here, and I've seen people with, like you said, 780s get denied for a loan, but somebody with a 650 got the $25,000
Yes.
loan. And they're like, well, for the life of me, I got this good credit score. Why can't I get it? And I'm like, well, because you've had a credit card for 2 months and that's all you have. Like, you need to show people, if you want to get a $30,000 loan or 40, 50, whatever amount, you need to show the bank, prove to them that you can manage $1,000,
Yes.
$500. You need to have multiple lines on your credit showing that you can be responsible with those small amounts. And that's where people miss it at. Because
Yes.
I'd rather have a well-rounded profile of a 680 than have a 780 and I don't have anything going on my credit.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, they
yes,
get caught up on a score when really it's like, okay, as long as we correct these, add the, you know what I'm saying, you will be a well balanced credit profile and you'll be able to get out there and get to winning.
exactly, exactly. So, what can someone do to build their credit from scratch? So, just
So if they
starting.
are starting from scratch, like this is somebody maybe coming out of high school or something.
Yes.
Okay, then I would honestly say the first step is go join Chase. All right. The reason for that, guys, is because Chase has it's called KYRA'S, right? Freedom Rise, it's a credit card. They give you, even if you don't have any credit, you start a checking account with them, they'll give you an actual credit card, the Chase Freedom Rise that I was talking about. And that way you can start building your credit early through an actual bank that is going to give you even more unsecured type of products and services in the future. And for those of you that don't know what unsecured means, it means when you apply for something and they just give you a limit and you don't have to put any money down or any type of car or anything like that to back that, whatever they're giving you.
Yes, that's good. And I'm glad you said something about high schoolers. What is your point of view on people there? I've seen the course that goes around on social media about people adding their kids at 12, 13, whatever age, minors onto their cards as authorized users, so then they can have their credit built by, they turn 18. What's your point of view of adding a child as a authorized user on their credit card?
I think it's amazing if you are able to do it, but I honestly don't think that you need to add a child at 5 years old. I want to start them early. No, go ahead and wait, because let's be honest, life can be life and sometimes. And if you add them to your credit card that early, anything can happen. What if you have to max out that card? What if you end up now, whatever you're doing on your credit card, is going to affect them even more because they don't have probably as many accounts as you have. But I definitely think it's an amazing concept. I definitely think that maybe 15, 16 around there, add them to a credit card, and add them to a credit card that you know for sure you're not going to be late on, that you know for sure that you're going to stay up under the 30% when it reports, so that you're not harming them in the future, but you're actually helping them to get their own with those 700 and 800 credit scores.
Yep. Yes, that's good. And I'm glad you said the 15 or 16, because people don't understand when you add them as an authorized user, they're adopting your whole line of credit of whatever you did on that credit card anyways. So it doesn't matter if you add them on at 10 years old or 17. They're still going to get whatever
back history.
Yes, they're still going to get that back history anyway. So it's just like waiting to 15, 16, or 17 is more ideal, because like you said, then you have a better idea when it's closer on if you can manage that credit card correctly or not. Yes.
On top of, if you are going to add a child, this is just a given. Another gem I want to give y'all. If you want them to get that back history, you need to make sure that it's not a Discover or American Express card, because they only give you the history from the date that this added forward. But if you want them to get all your back history, then any other card except for the American Express or Discover.
Good, noted, because I didn't know that about those two. That's really good. So, what are some effective strategies for improving a low credit score? So we say five. Let's say 500. Somebody in the 500s and they want to improve that credit score. What could they do?
One, first, of course, is you need to actually pull your credit report. I think that's the biggest step to get in front of what is happening, okay? To actually look at, I can't tell you how many times people tell me, yeah, I'm here. And when I pull their credit reports, they are far from there. Or they told me it was only like 3 accounts that's harming them. And I pull it and it's like 60. So first, pull your credit report. I don't care if it's annualcreditreport.com, Identity IQ, pull your credit reports. Then from there, take a look at it. And anything that you know, like if you're not living there, clear that personal history up. Only thing you should be reporting is your name, the correct spelling, right? And of course, an address where you currently are, your date of birth, of course, and your current employer if you want that on there. Anything else, get rid of that information and then start attacking anything that you see on there that's impacting your credit negatively. Anything that's on your credit report, guys, has to be showing maximum accuracy possible. If it's not, then it's grounds for deletions.
Perfect. Oh, y'all hear it? Ooh. So, what are the benefits of having a good credit score?
So what I said earlier, allowing you to get into rooms that you possibly couldn't get into if you didn't have great credit, having the right type of credit cards that give you the added benefits to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do if you didn't have that. Also, of course, when it comes to, I just purchased a travel vehicle for my family, the 2025. And I walked out with 0% interest rate. I didn't have to put any money down. You know what I'm saying? So having that definitely changes the game and changed how my payments are. If I, you know what I'm saying? If I didn't have that, it would have been $1,000 a month, or, interest would have been through the roof. So it really just helps you level up in life quicker and easier without truly having to come out of pocket.
Yes, that is great. That's great. I always tell people it feels good when you can walk in somewhere and just get what you want and walk out. They're
Yes,
not
yes.
asking for a dollar, even when it comes to buying homes and stuff. Like it's been easy for me because I could just go get a loan. I know my income is not an issue. I know my credit is not an issue. So there's no reasons why I wouldn't be approved because
Right.
I made sure to have everything in order. So I want people to remember that if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That part.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. So how can someone protect their credit from identity theft?
I like. So, especially in today's world, hackers be hacking all the time. Okay. So to kind of like add that added protection to you, I would honestly say create you a profile, a free profile with Experian.com, TransUnion.com, Equifax.com. So with the actual credit reporting agencies. And if you do that, there's a thing that's in there that says where you can lock and unlock your credit, right? Lock it. And then when you are using it yourself, go in and unlock it. Otherwise, if anybody do try to, they end up getting your information. When they try to apply for something, it's going to block them because you have it already locked.
Mhm. Yep, I do that. I do the thaw and unthaw all the time. I think that's what TransUnion calls it. And you can actually, and people need to know that you can set dates in there. So, like,
Yes,
if I know that I'm gonna be doing, like, when I apply for homes, I'm like, I know this whole week I need my credit open, so I don't have to keep going in and
yes,
unlocking and locking it. I set my parameters around what dates I wanted it to unfreeze and freeze back, and it does it for you automatically. So
yeah.
that's a really really good tip. So what should someone do if they find an error on their credit report? So they went to myannualcreditreport.com or IDIQ or whatever, pulled it and they see errors. What's some advice you can give someone?
Dispute it. Don't just let it sit there. I don't care, even if it's an error, but it's helping you. If you know that it's not yours and you know you don't want somebody else's life to be life and now it impacts you and now you want to get rid of it. Any error that you see on there, dispute it. Dispute it, dispute. Let them know that this is not yours. Or if you see that you were showing that it was late March 30th, March 2023, and you know that you wasn't late then, start right then and there to get that corrected so that when you are going for a home, when you are trying to get into a car, when you're trying to just get approved for, if you have a business, you want funding, right? And then you get turned away just because of that. So anytime you see an error on there, start right then and there trying to get that off of there.
Perfect, perfect. So how often do you think people should check their credit report?
So I'm a person, ooh, I'll probably check it weekly, I know. But if you're not using your credit like that, I at least say no less than once a month.
Mhm.
And the reason being is because, like you said before, you want to stay ready so you don't got to get ready. So that way, if you're checking it at least once a month, guess what? If some error do come about and you know that maybe 2 months down the way that you're going to be going after a home, you could have took care of it then instead of waiting to you trying to go for the home and they tell you no because of this.
Mhm.
So I at least say once a month.
Yeah, that's it. I want people to know too. If you have a credit card like Chase does it, Capital One, you can sign up. They have their little credit monitoring or credit reporting and stuff. I say don't use that as a score as a place to know where your score is, but it is a good place for them to send you alerts because every month they send me whether my credit limit was increased or if something was put on my credit. So I think that's a good way that if you're not proactive with actually pulling your score, that's a good way to also keep track if they will send you emails if you have one of those credit cards that offer that service.
Thanks. And also just having like if you have those accounts, they'll trigger and let you know, like even if it's on the free side, to just say, hey, alert, this happened. So
Yep.
definitely.
Yep, exactly. That's really good. What are some differences between the various credit scoring models? So I know we heard about the FICO, the Vantage score, then you have your mortgage scores. Tell us a little bit about the differences so people can understand how that impacts the difference between a mortgage and buying a car, what those differences are.
And so you have like over 60 FICO scores. For those of you that know the FICO score, that is what 90% of lenders and creditors out here are using today. So like you were saying, you have different variations when it comes to home buying. They are looking at your 2, 4, and 5 FICO scores. You know what I'm saying? If you are going after a car, then they're looking at your auto 8 or, depending on where you're going. When it comes for credit cards, you have your own FICO. Basically, what it is for each of them is when it's made up, they are trying to see how likely you are to pay that back. So they are throwing an emphasis on a certain part of what makes up your credit. Your Vantage scores that you see on Credit Karma, a lot of people like to say those are fake scores. They're not. They're not. They are honestly your real scores. It's just that 90% of lenders today are using FICO over the Vantage. And Vantage was created because what happened is the credit reporting agencies, they got together and they was like, you know what, let's give them an educational platform, but it's also a marketing platform so that you can at least get educated on your credit.
That is great. So how does student loans, I know that's one of the big pains for people. I know I have student loans still. They're in good standing, but what is your outlook on student loans and reporting to credit? Because people think that has an effect on what you get or what you don't get. So please clear that up for us.
So I'm going to say this, if you have student loans and they are in good standing, y'all quit letting these people delete this off your credit report and think that they helping you out. Honestly, for a lot of us, I know for me, that was like my oldest accounts. And credit age definitely can play a major role in how much you get approved for. That can be the difference between getting $9,000 and $25,000. So when it comes to student loans, lenders and credit, they look at them different. We look at it and all we see is debt, right? They look at it as stability. They might possibly make it more than minimum wage. They're looking at it completely different. So if you have student loans on there and they're in good standing, don't do nothing with them bad boys. Keep them on there because that's actually a game changer in itself for you. And when it comes to home buying, they look at 1% or 0.5% of that and take into consideration with your debt to income ratio.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's why I tell people, Litos, if all you need to do is either pay on them, get on some kind of plan, and just don't ignore those people. They have all
Yes,
kind of programs to help you.
out there to
Yes, to help you. Please stop ignoring the student loan people. They're not going away because you ignore them. So I want people to know that. Like, face the head on, get on a plan, and they do help you. They've actually helped me. I bought a second home, get ready to buy a third one. So they actually have been no hindrance to me
yes,
being able to
I
have
need
any
to hear.
purchasing power. You just have to know what you're doing. And like you said, your debt to income needs to be. And I'm always looking for ways to make more money. That's why I always
Yes,
tell people, yeah, elevate. You get a new job, and I need $5,000 more dollars. I need 10,000 more. You need to be adding to your income, and then those student loans wouldn't even be a thing. I look at them and say, "Oh, I owe you, pay you a little money every month or whatever I'm supposed to pay, and keep it pushing."
yes.
Yes, so that is wonderful. So, how can people rebuild from credit after a financial setback?
Is getting started is the biggest thing. A lot of people, once they get to a certain point and they can't get, they hear denied all the time or, not right now, they get discouraged. Stay on top of it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And guys, it's not an overnight process. So quit believing that you start today, tomorrow it's supposed to be 700, 800. No, give yourself, I always say 6 months to a year, depending on where you are in that journey to get your stuff together, but get started. And then from there, I would say get accounts that's going to help you to start building. And what I mean by that is go and have a secured card if you need it, or if you also need to show that you've had a loan before, get you a credit builder type of loan. Build at the same time that you are cleansing. See, I'm going to say this real quick. I see a lot of people that will build, they'll go get Kickoff and Self and all these other credit builder accounts. And then they're like, well, they said it'll jump up this much. And I'm like, yeah, if you didn't have all the things that's impacting your credit negatively, you can't ignore that. You can't just put something on top of it and think that's going to go away. It doesn't work like that. You have to fix and build at the same time.
Yes, and build good financial habits, because that all of those things you just said go hand in hand. Like
Yes.
you can't have a money spending problem but then think you're going to do something with your credit, or you're going to be able, like, you have to work on all of those things at the same time. Those things, you can't do one without the other, period. You cannot go get a self lender or a kickoff and say, oh, I need, like you said, extra points, but then you're like, you still got 5 late payments and you still don't pay the other card on time that you had. It's not going to do anything for you. And that is great that you're saying that, because people think that everything is just a quick fix.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I'm going to do this now and it's going to be fixed. And in 5 months, I'm going to be able to buy a car. No, sometimes it takes 3 to 4 years for your profile to get back to where it needs to be, but you just have to do the work.
Yes. Yes.
And then one last thing I wanted to ask you about. So how people on the rebuilding process, what is your point of view on bankruptcy and building and financial setbacks and things like that pertains to credit?
So I have people come to me and they're like, hey, I don't know if I should do credit repair or if I should file a bankruptcy. I will say this: bankruptcy is a debt solution. All right. And credit restoration is a credit solution. All right. So if you go and file a bankruptcy, yes, that'll help with your debt, but it's also going to hurt your credit, right? Because they're going to put all those accounts on there and show that you didn't have a bankruptcy and stuff like that. So it's going to hit at a certain point, usually 6 months after it's discharged. On the credit side, I can help you cleanse your credit all day. But if certain accounts are in the statute of limitation time, meaning they still have time to come after you for that debt. So we have to make sure we're taking care of that as well as doing the credit restoration. So I'm honestly one of those, don't file a bankruptcy if you only have $5,000 and $10,000 worth of debt. It makes no sense at that point, because now you just made it where it's like 2 to 3 years until you can get into a home now and all of this other jazz that go with that bankruptcy. So it's honestly looking at your profile and seeing exactly what needs to happen, reaching out to not only a credit expert, but also I would take the initiative to speak out with our attorney on the bankruptcy side so that you can make the right decision for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is true, because y'all, I filed bankruptcy before, but I owe more than $10,000. So, but that's why I wanted to hear, because some people need to hear you. Of course, reach out to an attorney. This is not financial advice on which if you should file bankruptcy or not.
Yes.
But I do want to let people know that even if you have to, you can recover from it. I
Mm-hmm.
was still in a house. I found bankruptcy, then bought another house 2 years later and about to buy another one at the 4th year. You can still do it, but do not make that your first choice, like she said. And also, when it comes to cleaning your credit, you still owe them people. That's what I want
Yes.
people to understand.
Yes. That's why
Credit
it's a
repair,
credit solution.
yes, does not make you not owe those people you owe. I'm gonna tell you, they could still sue you and it not be on your credit. It could still be
Mm-hmm.
a judgment against you, which shows on your credit report, if they still want to do that. So that's what people need to understand too, that it is not a fix all. This is gonna fix my situation. You first have to fix your mindset first on your ways around it, and then pick a choice that's best for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes. That is so great. So what is the last piece of advice that you can give our listeners that they can take away from today with?
One, like I said, get started. If you know that's the one thing, if credit is the one thing that's hindering you from accomplishing all your goals out there, whether it be taking your business to the next level, whether it be putting your kids into a home instead of renting, whether it be getting them a vehicle that can actually get you from A, B, C and not have to pray on it, okay? If you know The only thing that's stopping you is credit, which is your foundation. That's like your heartbeat, guys. Ain't pumping, nothing else matters, right? Are you going to be spending more? Start your journey as soon as possible. Do not wait until I'm tired of renting, my lease about to be up, and I want to get my credit fixed, and they should get it done in 1 month. And I,
So I can do all of these things.
yes,
Yes.
start way before. Start now. Whether you even worried about your credit right now, start now. Get into a place that is great, and then now you don't have to worry about it when you go after whatever it is you're trying to go after.
Yes, amen. So where can people reach you if they want to get their credit cleaned up, or they want a consultation or a mentor? Where can we find you?
Yes, so it is Kredit Kleanse, credit with a K, cleanse with the K on all platforms. TikTok, IG, LinkedIn, YouTube, Kredit Kleanse. Also, I have my personal page, which people follow as well, which is Kyra, KYRA DODD on Facebook, and it's your girl Kyra on IG.
Yes, perfect. So y'all hear that? If y'all need any of this, any of her services, I will link all of her websites in the show notes so that you can easily access them. And we thank you for coming on today to the Get Your Coins Sis podcast. This was a wonderful, informative episode, and we loved having you on. Thank you so much for being our speaker today.
And thank you for having me. I
You're
definitely
welcome.
enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Your Coins Sis podcast. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and empowering. Remember, every step you take towards personal growth and financial literacy brings you closer to your goals. Stay connected with us on social media and share your thoughts and stories. Until next time, keep striving, keep believing, and keep trusting in God's plan for your life. Stay blessed and see you in the next episode.